Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, as a freelancer myself, I paid particular attention to a report by Payoneer recently that surveyed over 21,000 freelancers from 170 different countries, all about their experience, their background, and their freelance earnings. Now, the report revealed average hourly freelancing rates of the freelancing community to better understand what drives price in the market and learn how to help freelancers increase their value. The CEO has been on the show before, but this report is of a particular interest to both myself and I suspect you guys and dolls listening. So I convinced him to come back on the show and tell us all about it. So buckle up and hold on tight, because I want to beam your ears all the way to New York City so we can speak with my friend of the show, Scott Galit, the CEO of Payoneer, about this latest Freelancers report. So welcome back to the show, Scott. Regular listeners should know who you are by now, because I think this is the third time on in the 2.5 years we've been doing the podcast. But for anyone that doesn't, can you remind them a little about who you are, what you do, and equally what Payoneer is?
Yeah, Neil, really a pleasure to be back with you. Always really enjoy our chats. So thanks for having me back. Scott Galit, I'm the CEO of Payoneer, and Payoneer is a global payment company that helps businesses and professionals all around the world grow a global business. And so we work with everything from sole proprietors that do work as freelancers all the way up through some of the largest companies in the world, companies like Amazon and Google, Airbnb, and many others, usually businesses that are very digital and become very global very quickly and need to pay lots of suppliers around the world. So we're in the business of shrinking the world, making it easier for anybody to go global and pay or get paid anywhere in the world. Now,
the reason I invited you back on the show today was because after reading the Payoneer Freelancer Income Survey for 2018, I believe Payoneer surveyed, I think it was 21,000 freelancers from 170 different countries around the world, all about their experience, their background, and their freelance earnings as well. So, as a freelancer myself, I was particularly interested in this. So can you tell me a little about why you created this report, and also any big trends that you found as a result?
Yeah, we really are excited about the way we see the world changing and the increasing opportunity for both service providers and freelancers around the world, as well as businesses around the world to now find workers and freelancers really with a wide range of skills in a wide range of places all over at very attractive rates. And so we built this report to really take a snapshot of what's happening with some of these really interesting and powerful trends. And some of those trends that we've seen is, the continued growth of technology-driven services. And we all know that software is eating the world, and technology is really necessary for almost any kind of business activity, almost anywhere in the world these days. And there continues to be a scarcity of talent. And what we've seen is this continued growth of an ecosystem of freelancers around the world that are technically educated, that are very internet savvy, that are actually able to work remotely and deliver value all over the world. And so that's one of the trends that we saw and wanted to capture. We also really, along with that, are seeing an explosion of freelance opportunity emerging in developing markets. And what we see is that there are a lot of young people who now recognize that the internet creates better opportunities for them to sell internationally and earn more money than what they could earn at home. And so they are in very large numbers getting educated not just on technology, but on how to sell freelance services internationally, how to work and support clients internationally, and how to develop. So this whole cross-border service provider ecosystem continues to grow, and along with it, the growth of emerging markets. And part of what's enabling that, one of the other trends that we really were keen to track, is the growth and the importance of online marketplaces that match freelance buyers and freelance sellers together. And this is really a growing phenomenon, and platforms like Upwork and 99 Designs and freelancer.com, and there are hundreds of others that become sources for buyers that are trying to figure out how to find either niche talent or specific capabilities, or fill a project on a specific timeline or at a specific cost. And then service providers and freelancers all over the world that are actually able to now find new buyers, regardless of where they may be. And so now 3/4 of freelancers actually around the world have actually found a project through an online marketplace, and that's a meaningful increase from the last time we did this survey. So again, kind of increasing globalization, increasing importance of marketplaces, increasing numbers of technology-driven freelancers, and increasing numbers of young people coming from emerging markets that are participating in it.
So as a freelancer with clients all over the world, I was particularly interested in which freelance fields earn the highest and equally the lowest fees. I mean, dare I ask you to reveal a little more about this to see if I am working in the wrong field or not?
Yeah, so I won't ask you to tell me what you're able to charge for what you get, but I think it won't be surprising what's on the high end and what's on the low end. I mean, what we see on the high end are legal services as well as specialty technology services. And so those are areas that require more education, more expertise, more sophistication, and there's more specialization that you find. And so we continue to see those scoring the highest. And then on the low end, actually, it's a category that we added this time, which is administrative and customer support. So these are things like data entry, virtual assistant services, customer service. And these are fields where someone who may not be as educated or may not have as specialized in education can still both create value for themselves as well as for somebody else. And again, typically earn quite a bit more than what they could earn in their home market, but they're able to do so. They're only able to do so at much lower rates than what the higher end of the spectrum is able to earn.
So did you find if any traditional factors such as age, education, skills, etc., do they actually impact freelance earnings in the same way they would in the traditional workplace, or does it not matter as much?
Actually, it really does track pretty closely with what you'd expect. Yeah. And so we find that age, there's a meaningful difference between the youngest people in our survey and the oldest people in our survey, and it's actually pretty linear, meaning, every 10-year or 5-year grouping that you look at, as you continue to age up, the income on average continues to rise. And so that's what we would expect: more experience, potentially more education, but even if not, higher income tends to come with more experience. And similarly with education, we found a difference certainly on the highest end of the spectrum with advanced degrees. Folks earned more than folks that either didn't have a college degree or had just graduated with the equivalent of high school. And so we absolutely see many of those same factors really coming into play here.
Now, people often think that a freelancer's lifestyle is sat around eating cookies and watching Netflix all day while everyone else enjoys that nasty 9-to-5 daily grind. But the reality is, actually, from the moment I open my eyes to the moment I close them, my mind's on the job, or maybe that's just me not finding the right balance. So I've got to ask, in your report, how do freelancers worldwide manage their work week?
Yeah, I mean, it really is fascinating. So for one, freelancers on average, are putting in, somewhere between, say 35 and 40 hours of work a week. Yeah. And that's, again, pretty consistent with how folks would otherwise expect to see their time being spent. We also see that there's a range of the amount of time that people spend looking for new work. And so, again, you touched on it already. I mean, I think people often think of freelancers as, as being, again, either lazy or prioritizing lifestyle over opportunity. But actually, in many cases, people see it as an opportunity to be an independent business owner. They see it as an opportunity to have control, but also they recognize that with that control comes a lot of responsibility and burden. You have to really focus on what your clients want. You have to really focus on selling new clients and making sure that you keep the income coming in. And so we see freelancers spending several hours a week focused on finding new opportunities as well. And so these are things that, again, I think you find freelancers spending their time on.
Yeah, I mean, although I did say a few moments ago that my mind is always on the job, I wouldn't have it any other way because I love what I do. And it's not even about the money, it's about just being able to do my own thing, like you mentioned there. But according to your survey, I mean, how satisfied are freelancers as a whole with their income and their freelance work?
Yeah, so in general, we found that folks are happy with what they do, but they're really at about a medium level of satisfaction with the income that they get. Yeah. And so, again, we see a lot of people who see opportunity, who see others who are able to earn more and who aspire to earn more and aspire to get more work. And so, the number one thing that we heard about what freelancers would like to improve is make more money. And again, in general, we had about, on average, the satisfaction with income was right in the middle. So we kind of had folks rated on a scale of 1 to 10, and we came out at about right around 5. So we think people are, again, they like the opportunities, they like the control, they like the being able to focus on something that they're passionate about, but they are keen to find more opportunities and more ways to earn more money.
But freelancers do have to spin a lot of plates. I mean, they can be doing their accounts, PR, sales, marketing, and their own PR every day. So I've got to ask, did the report show how freelancers are actually managing their marketing and self-promotion?
Yeah, and that was one of the things that was super interesting to us. And really, there's a tremendous amount of change in the way freelancers are finding work and promoting themselves. And so, when we did this survey in 2015, a little less than half of freelancers reported that they looked for work through online marketplaces, and now it's closer to 75%. And so a huge amount of growth in the importance of online marketplaces. And then similarly, we really were surprised to see the importance of social media channels, and in particular the growing importance of Facebook as a way that freelancers promote their work. So again, in 2015, when we did this, about 38% of freelancers promoted on Facebook. It's now up to 54% who use Facebook to promote their work. And then, not surprisingly, and frankly for me, I expected this would have been number one. LinkedIn is number 2 at 40%. And so again, I think across the board, it really all ties back to this increased globalization, this increasing set of opportunities that are accessed digitally across borders. And the channels that are increasingly important to do that are online marketplaces and social media channels.
Now, you did talk about those online marketplaces a little there, and they're things that I stay away from just because of the prices on there are incredibly low, all the fees. And you find yourself scrapping for little pieces of work. So I've got another question I'd like to ask. I mean, do you find that, or what did you find that drives prices in the freelance markets? And how can a freelancer actually increase their value so they stand out?
Yeah, so we certainly see that, again, specialization is a way to drive additional value. Certainly experience becomes one of the most important areas of focus, education, as well as specialized skills that come by focusing on the higher income opportunities that are out there. So we really see that there's kind of an increasing kind of bookending of what's happening with incomes, meaning if you're pursuing something that is perceived as a commodity and you can't really differentiate on the basis of experience, happy clients, specialized skills and education, then there is a tremendous amount of competition among freelancers that's out there, and that continues to increase. And on the flip side, if you are able to highlight something that is of unique value, you have experience that's differentiated, then you're often able to not just protect wages, but we actually see opportunities for wages to continue to increase. So we think there will continue to be some bookending there, and we think that actually increases the importance of folks really kind of understanding what they're trying to achieve and really focus on that differentiation.
And how are Payoneer actually helping freelancers now? Has that changed much since we last spoke? And how do you see that evolving over the next few years?
Yeah, I mean, we are really committed to the needs of freelancers, and we work with them in so many different ways. One, we continue to work with more and more freelance marketplaces all over the world to make it instant for the payments that they get from those marketplaces. We continue to add more services through what we call our billing service, which allows a freelancer to bill their clients anywhere in the world for clients that they secure on their own. And the client can then pay them locally, essentially wherever they are in the world. So that's something that we really have seen a tremendous amount of interest. And we actually have freelancers from something like 150 countries selling to buyers in 150 countries every month through our billing service, where we allow them to create invoices now through our platform, or upload or attach them, manage all their contacts, manage reminders for payments, things like that. And we've got a long roadmap ahead. We host events where we bring freelancers together in countries all over the world, whether it be in Cairo or Buenos Aires or Belgrade or Islamabad. We host events all over the world where we bring freelancers together, and we bring in speakers to help them understand about new opportunities that they can take advantage of to grow their business. And we're fully committed to continuing that, and it continues to be a focus of what we do.
Well, a huge thank you for coming on today. But before I let you go, could you just remind the listeners of your website details for Payoneer, and also any contact details for a member of your team if anybody's got any questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is available on our website. You can go to www.payoneer.com, Payoneer, and it should have all the information you need to learn more, whether you're a business that needs to pay freelancers, or whether you are a freelancer looking for ways to grow your business internationally. We have information available there. And Neil, as always, thank you so much. It's really always a pleasure to talk with you, and really always enjoyable. So thank you.
A big thank you to Scott there for sharing the freelance income survey results. And if anyone's listening and wants to find out more, I'll add the link to the show notes, and I do urge you to take a look, as there's some really useful information in there. If you do read it, let me know what you think of the findings in there. I mean, does it reflect your freelance experiences? And do you think there is anything missing? Don't sit there in silence reflecting on your thoughts. Sharing is caring. So send me a tweet or direct message to @NeilC.Hughes, or email me at techblogwriter@outlook.com. It was a pleasure getting Scott back on the show today, and I'm delighted that you, yes you, I'm talking to you sat there with me speaking into your ears, even though I'm thousands of miles away. I know that you're there, and I appreciate you turning up and listening to the show. But it's time for me to get back to freelancing. Despite my love of recording these shows, I've got a few deadlines to meet. So until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.